Okay, so I thought this whole gay was the new black thing was over, but apparently it isn't. So just to recap, remember back in November of 2008 when President Obama had just won the presidential election and people were all excited about hope and change and everything? That same election, Proposition 8 passed in California, which banned same-sex marriages in California, even though a bunch of gay people had already gotten married. One of the things that was especially significant of that outcome was that the majority of the black people who voted in that election voted for Proposition 8. People rushed to demonize black people as being especially homophobic, and it seemed like everywhere you were looking in the gay media or the blogosphere, people were proclaiming that gay was the new black, meaning that gays were the last group of people who were considered second-class citizens under the law and faced discrimination. The Advocate even put it on the cover of its issue the next week, bringing the comparison between the black civil rights movement and the gay civil rights movement to the national attention. Now, a flurry of black writers and bloggers rushed to point out why this comparison was problematic, and eventually the gay is the new black thing died away. At least I thought it had died away. A couple of weeks ago, the Huffington Post published this article called "It's Official, Gay is the New Black." It was written by who I understood to be a straight black woman who is this ally to the gay community. I know she meant well and we could always use more allies in the gay community, but the article kind of pissed me off. I mean, the headline alone was enough to send me to a screaming rage. So, gay is not the new black. I'm black, I'm gay, I say this with love. So here are 5 reasons why this is problematic. You cannot compare oppression, so maybe we should all stop doing it. I don't know why straight black people and gay white people engage in these online screaming matches about who has it worse. I hear straight black people saying things like, well, being gay is a choice, and being black isn't a choice, so it isn't the same thing. And I hear these gay white people saying things like, black people don't get kicked out of their families for being black like gay people do, and black people can get married. Who the hell cares? Who the hell cares? Inequality and oppression are evil regardless of the form they take. By comparing your oppression to someone else's, you're trivializing that person's struggle and creating a hierarchy, which prevents you from seeing how the two struggles are related and building alliances. You cannot compare slavery in the Middle Passage to the horrors many gays faced during the Holocaust and forced hospitalization and lobotomies. I mean, it's like comparing like this bust of Ludwig van Beethoven with my wallet. Like, they're two different things. You can't really compare them. Also, many people don't stop to think about how the two struggles are related, and they like to focus on differences. Both groups have been subject to discrimination in housing and employment. Both groups have been denied the right to marry partners of their choice. Both groups have been banned from the armed forces. Both groups have been and continue to be vulnerable to hate crimes. Children in both groups continue to be harassed and bullied just for being who they are. Both groups have had to fight to have their histories taught in public schools, who have historically ignored the contributions made to this country by black people and gay people. Both groups have been forbidden to congregate and gather and organize with the intent of organizing against injustice. And I can go on, but you get the idea. Comparing oppression is pointless, it's divisive, and it turns potential allies into enemies. Okay, second reason. Gay is not the new black because black is still black. I mean, hello, racism still exists. We can't just hone in on homophobia and ignore other systems of inequality. Despite the gains made by the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s, blacks still face disadvantages and disparities compared to white people when it comes to finding a job, earning equal pay for equal work, academic achievement, and facing disproportionately higher rates of incarceration and state-sanctioned executions. Even within the GLBT community, people of color still catch it worse than white people. A recent study by the National Coalition of Anti-Violence Programs found that over 70% of victims of GLBT hate crimes were GLBT people of color. Over 70%. This suggests that GLBT people of color are more likely to be targeted for hate crimes than white GLBT people. So yeah, race is still very much salient and it hasn't gone away. Okay, reason number 3. Latina is the new black. Person with a disability is the new black. Woman is the new black. Muslim is the new black. There are so many groups of people who still face discrimination. Gay people aren't the only folks facing discrimination these days, and I think we should all stop acting like it. There are so many examples of this, but let's just take one for example. Let's take Latinas and Latinos. those who are undocumented as well as those who are documented. In light of Arizona and Alabama's new immigration laws, these states have taken to engaging in blatant racial profiling. This means that someone who is just suspected of being an undocumented immigrant, suspected of course meaning having brown skin and speaking Spanish maybe, can be asked for their documentation attesting to their citizenship or their residency. This has created a climate of fear for Latinos and Latinas living in these states, regardless of their immigration status. A fear not unlike the fear that marked our nation's first Jim Crow era when it came to black people. Now police can demand proof of legal residency during traffic stops. Even if you are a documented immigrant, you're still at risk if you don't have the proper documentation with you or if someone in your family is undocumented. Schools may have to gather citizenship information from students, which has kept many Latinos and Latino children out of school, again, those who are documented as well as who are undocumented, out of fear for being deported. Even certain business transactions are forbidden if you don't have the right paperwork with you. And because this sort of prejudice and racial profiling is so prevalent, there's this climate in these states of this vigilante immigration policing, where everyone feels empowered to ask any Latino or Latino for their papers, even in cases where the law doesn't warrant it. And it gets worse. The federal government has been splitting up families through deportations and detentions. Over 80,000 parents of U.S. citizen children have been deported, and over 5,000 of these children are currently in foster care. There have been many instances of welfare departments and juvenile courts actually terminating parental rights and putting these children up for adoption. Many of these kids never see their parents again. Now, regardless of how you feel about the immigration issue, I think we can all agree that racial profiling is wrong and no child should be separated from his or her family. I think this is an important civil rights issue, and so do some legislators in Congress. So when I hear someone say that gay is the new black and that gay rights are the new civil rights issue of our time, it makes me think that they're pretty ignorant. It makes me think, that person just doesn't really give a damn about people of color, women, people with disabilities, transgender people, or any other group facing discrimination these days. Okay, reason number 4, gay is not the new anything. Gay is not new, gay oppression is not new, the gay struggle is not new. In fact, gay people have been raising a ruckus for quite some time now. Now, the Stonewall Riots of 1969 are often thought of as being the beginning of the gay rights movement, but in actuality it goes back further than that. As early as 1900, people were being vocal about the subjugation of gay people and organizing for justice for gay people. Emma Goldman, for example, pretty radical woman, anarchist, feminist. She spoke out about homophobic attitudes. In 1924, Henry Gerber, a Bavarian immigrant to the United States, founded the Society for Human Rights, which is considered by many to be the first gay rights organization in this country. And then in the 1920s also, Prescott Townsend and other people were agitating against anti-sodomy laws in Massachusetts, which criminalized gay people having sex with each other. And then, of course, in 1950, the Mattachine Society was formed, which was a group that sought to affect attitudes towards gay people and fight against laws that criminalized gay people. So, it can be argued, that the gay rights movement is over a century old. Gay people have a long, rich history of organizing and ruckus raising, and yeah, gay is not the new anything. Unless, of course, you're 100 years old and you're stuck in a time warp. Or something. Alright, so if gay is the new black, then transgender is the new gay. Now, I'm saying that not because I actually believe it, but in order to make a point. What about transgender people? Now, I know this relates to my other point of there being other oppressed groups, but transgender people have a unique relationship to the gay community. The GLB community has, for the most part, largely ignored issues facing transgender people. Now, I say this knowing that there are many GLB people and organizations that are involved in transgender rights work, but for the most part, we've been left out of the gay agenda. Most notably, the Human Rights Campaign and Andrew Sullivan and other prominent gays argued for passing a version of the Employment Non-Discrimination Act, which included sexual orientation as a protection, but left transgender people out. They argue that legislation that left out transgender people was better than none at all, thereby elevating their concerns above their transgender brothers and sisters. Also, while many gays and lesbians were out celebrating the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, Little attention was given to transgender people, who most of whom remain largely unaffected by this repeal. Okay, simply put, many gay people just don't give a damn about transgender people. They think we're an embarrassment, they think we're a hindrance to the gay rights movement, they think that transgender people have no place in their communities. So when you say that gay is the new black, you're overlooking the fact that transgender people continue to face challenges and are impacted by the same heteronormative and gender normative thinking that affects gay and lesbians and transgender people alike. So here's a message for all the white gay people out there who think that gay is the new black. Stop tripping. The black struggle for equality is not over. It's not something that you're going to be able to relate to, and it's something that you shouldn't dismiss. How much you know or you think you know about black history and black civil rights isn't really relevant. At the same time, there are many similarities between the black struggle and the gay struggle, so try focusing on those instead of how you think one might be different or how one might be worse than the other. And while you're at it, try building some bridges instead of burning them. Take your lead from all the black straight people involved in gay rights work and all the white gay people involved in anti-racist work. There's so much ugliness in the world around you, and gay people are far from being the only ones affected by it. What really blew my mind was that there are a lot of black gay people out there who also feel that gay is the new black. And if you're one of those people out there watching this video, it'd be awesome to hear from you. Hit me up in the comments section or make a response video. And I'd be interested in hearing what you had to say. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe gay is the new black and I just need to get on board. I don't know.